During the Sterling corporate happy hour, I deliberately set out to get him wasted. When I saw the man I had secretly adored for so long lying on that huge bed, I couldn't help myself, I took him. To keep seeing him every single day, I spent the next morning acting as if nothing had happened. Then one day my phone chimed. Sinclair, when are you coming to collect the diamond drop earring you left at my place? Before we go on, please subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. I was in the pantry when the iMessage arrived. I sprayed water everywhere. Nearby coworkers jumped in alarm. Panicking, I yanked a paper towel and dabbed my mouth, apologizing with my eyes. I'm fine. The earring I'd hunted for 3 whole months had finally surfaced, only I never imagined it would turn up with Sterling. I must have lost it in my frantic escape that night. Wait. He knows it's mine. Crap. In other words, he knows I'm the one who. A tide of shame and dread surged through me. I'd stupidly assumed he'd been oblivious. After all, he'd been dead drunk. But he's known all along, so why wait 3 full months to mention it? Ding, another alert. Before I could breathe, Sterling fired off a second message. Come get it now. A bare handful of words, yet they rattled me so hard I dropped my phone. What's wrong, Avery? You're white as paper. Did you see a ghost? It was Chloe, Sterling's junior secretary, my assistant, really, hired to lighten my workload. I forced calm. Nothing. Sterling wants me. I'd better go. Chloe studied me, worried. Lately his moods swing like crazy, good 1 minute, stormy the next. Be careful, okay? Well, duh, any boss would be prickly after being bedded by a subordinate. But what did she mean by good moods? I hadn't heard of any big deals closing. No time to puzzle it out, the man had summoned me. I had to march up and claim my death sentence. I paced outside his corner office, hand hovering to knock, then dropping, over and over. Dear God, I couldn't step inside. Because the instant that door opened, I'd be on death row. I could already see it, coworkers pointing, sneering, branding me shameless for daring to dream of marrying into power. Sterling, famously ruthless about his private life, would boot me from the building without mercy. His body had been tainted by me, he'd never let that slide. I saw myself blacklisted, career ruined, future erased, my life destroyed by one rash surge of desire. Sinclair, what melodrama are you rehearsing? A deep, velvety voice sounded right behind me. I flinched so hard I stumbled, and my body, traitorous as ever, pitched straight into his arms. By the time I realized, I was pressed against his chest, my wrists trapped in his warm palms, exactly the way they'd been when he stroked my neck and cheeks that night. You found your earring, surely you're not this ecstatic. Julian arched a brow, head tilted, studying me. Blushing furiously, I wriggled free. To keep from melting again, I sprang back, putting a full yard between us. Sterling, I'm sorry, that was unprofessional. He seemed irritated by the distance. Do I have the plague? Why stand so far? I waved both hands. No, it's just, if someone saw, it could cause trouble for you. Funny, he'd never minded a 1-yard gap before. Why grouse about it now? Did he actually want me closer? My heart leapt at the thought, but the hallway was no place to linger. Inside, Julian murmured. I followed him in. My gaze went straight to his broad, straight back. Beneath the tailored suit his skin was pale, shoulders wide, waist narrow, perfection I had kissed and caressed. Honestly, the experience had been unforgettable. Since that night I'd known I was doomed, the man was Sinclair addiction. A reckless idea exploded in my skull. Sterling, this earring isn't mine. I forced my voice steady and sincere. Right, deny everything and he can't pin that night on me. Deny everything and I stay his secretary. Deny everything and I still see him every day. Just deny. Oh? Julian hadn't expected that. His brows, sharp, lethal, rose, making his cold beauty even more lethal. Dear heaven, he was lethal. I was no better than a lovesick fangirl, but could anyone blame me? Really, Sterling, the style is exactly what I like, but it's definitely not mine. I stepped forward, picked up the diamond drop, secretly mourned the paycheck it had cost, then set it back. Julian extended one long finger, hooked the earring, glanced at it, glanced at me. He rose and walked over slowly. Yet it seems tailor-made for you. My left ear suddenly felt heavy. I reached up, the earring was already there. Had Julian just fastened the diamond drop earring into my ear with his own fingers? A moment ago the soft draft from his nose had brushed my cheek. Minute, almost weightless, yet it set off ripples that rolled to the deepest part of me. What do? He's so close. Close enough that if I simply lifted my head I could kiss him. I wanted to, desperately. In the end, reason won. Sterling must be joking, the earring really isn't mine. I unhooked it and laid it down. By now Julian had settled back into his chair, fingers steepled, elbows planted on the desk. You say it's not yours, then tell me, why did you bother to come in here? Crafty old fox. Furthermore, Sinclair, why do you keep insisting the owner isn't you? The more you protest, the guiltier you look, classic protesting too much territory. God, can you please stop dissecting everything? I'd forgotten, outwardly courteous, inwardly calculating, Julian was the legend everyone in the industry whispered about. You can't outmaneuver a man like that. While I teetered, unsure how to escape, a knock sounded. A colleague stepped in for Julian's signature. I exhaled in pure relief. If there's nothing else, Sterling, I'll get back to work. I slipped out fast and clean. Back at my desk I gulped water until the glass was empty, waiting for my pulse to steady. Easy, Avery, you'll bloat yourself. How are you supposed to drink tonight if you're sloshing? Morgan, one of the better allies on the floor, had evidently finished her own pile and wandered over to gossip. Tonight? I blinked. She spun her phone like a baton. Didn't you read the thread? Birthday bash later. She flipped the screen toward me. Oh, right, who's going? Is Sterling? She pondered. Word as he said no at first, then flipped and said yes. So Julian is coming, fine, I'm not. The next second Morgan lifted her gaze, eyes sparkling. Planning to get him wasted again? Not that I'm judging. You look all gentle, but girl, you're fierce. Did he ride you too hard on that report, so you retaliated with booze? I clapped a hand over her mouth before the tale grew taller. Given Morgan's role as the office's unofficial news bureau, half of Sterling probably already worships me for daring to liquor up the CEO. I'm skipping tonight. I faked a headache and pressed 2 fingers to my temple. Lately, outside of business hours, I've been avoiding any timetable that overlaps with Julian. The more dazzling the creature, the deadlier. Julian is the proof. Once Morgan drifted off, I buried myself in spreadsheets and planned to punch the clock the instant the hour hand kissed 6. I was stepping into the executive elevator when HR's Riley called. Avery, you have to show. The birthday boy is your protege, and his full-time offer comes through today. We're staging a mini recognition ceremony for the mentor-protege pair, gifts, speech, the works. I stayed silent. Of all days, he had to be born on this one. 7 sharp, Aurora. Colleagues trickled in. I claimed the corner of the banquette, greeting everyone with a practiced smile while mentally chanting, don't show, don't show. Sterling's here. Good evening, Sterling. Sterling, sit with us. He walked in, half the room rose. A few smitten junior girls even patted the seats beside Th. An invitation. I rolled my eyes skyward. Please, at least weigh yourselves on the scale. If Julian ever spared any of you a glance, the title of Sterling wouldn't still be vacant. Same as last corporate happy hour, relax and enjoy yourselves, he said. The bar's heating was cranked high. Julian slipped off his pricey wristwatch, then the tailored jacket, revealing a silhouette worthy of a fashion editorial. Tall, broad-shouldered, impossibly regal. Sinclair's here as well? His gaze found me. The jacket landed over the sofa back beside my shoulder. I refused to meet his stare, lifting a tumbler instead. Yes, Sterling. I kept my head low, a scolded puppy in spirit if not in fact. Riley jumped in, chipper. Colton isn't from Avery's department, but she mentored him the first 3 months, so we counted her as tonight's honorary mentor. That's why she's here. Julian smiled, thin and dangerous. Quite the history, then. Had I imagined the metallic grind in his voice? The birthday boy, Colton, lanky, fair, pure textbook cute puppy, lifted his glass. Office gossip, care of Morgan, claims half the intern pool is chasing him. Surveying him now, I could see the appeal, though he isn't my type. He swallowed once, nervous, then spoke. Avery, those 3 months you carried me through every rookie blunder. You were so patient, thank you for covering for me. Out of courtesy I sipped along. Everyone stumbles right after graduation, I said. The table loosened, jokes and clinking glasses flying back and forth. Morgan leaned to my ear. Take it slow, Avery. I frowned. Earlier she'd told me to save space, now she wanted me to slow down. Make up your mind, woman. She added, remember last happy hour? You lost one of your diamond drop earrings and still haven't found it. Pace yourself or you'll misplace something pricey again and bawl your eyes out searching. Damn it, Morgan. I itched for superglue to seal her lips. Why resurrect the earring saga in front of Julian? What on earth do you think you're doing? Just as I'd feared. A dark, unreadable light flickered through Julian's eyes. I wanted to say something, anything, to cover up the shabby little lie I'd been caught in, but my mind was a perfect, terrifying blank. Now what? The lie had been skewered clean through, and the icy stab of it went straight to my heart. Suddenly, Colton thrust a velvet box at me, ribbon and all. Avery, can I call you that? This is for you. Morgan told me you lost one of your diamond drop earrings, so I bought you a new pair. Earrings should come in twos, right? People, too. I hope you like them. His loaded, surprise confession nearly stopped my heart. Everyone around us was suddenly drunk on gossip, whooping and clapping and badgering me to open the box on the spot. I had no choice but to reach for it. In that same heartbeat a pair of pale, elegant fingers sliced through the air, snatching the box before I could touch it. Perfect. I've been looking for a pair myself, thought I'd study the style for reference. You don't mind, do you, Avery? Julian gave me a mild, almost tender smile, then flipped the lid open. He was the boss, he could do whatever he wanted. Who was I to object? Judging by the frozen smiles around me, every last colleague felt the same. Inside, two small, heart-shaped diamonds caught the dim light and flashed like miniature stars. Wow, Colton, great eye, those drops are gorgeous. They've got gentle femme fatale written all over them, perfect for Avery. The whole table chimed in, praising Colton's taste and sensitivity until he was rubbing the back of his neck, sneaking glances at me for any hint of approval. The earrings are pretty, Julian said, voice cooling the air by several degrees, but I don't think they suit Avery at all. Avery needs something more substantial. These are a little too young. Don't you agree, Avery? I silently winced for Colton. The man could at least pretend to be polite, he was the superior, after all. Critique was one thing, but dragging me into it? I forced a smile. Still, it's incredibly sweet of Colton. A thank you for the help I've given him, so, as his mentor, I'll accept. I lifted my Cabernet and toasted Colton, draining the glass. The moment I set it down, a chill spider walked up my spine. Julian's black eyes were fastened on me, glittering with frost, as though he'd already pictured my dismemberment. His next words, low and glacial, made me shiver. How considerate of you, Avery, never turning anyone down. We should give you Sinclair Award. What had gotten into him? Chloe had been right, lately Julian's mood swung like a broken pendulum. Every instinct screamed at me to run. His compliments were razor-edged, he looked ready to flay me alive. I grabbed my bag and coat. Sorry, everyone, something urgent came up at home. I need to go. Morgan blinked. Already? Let Colton see you out. She shot him a look that screamed, this is your chance, escort the heroine. Exactly what I'd expected, the whole department was itching to pair me off with the new puppy. But I'd clawed my way through too many Manhattan nights to devour a fresh-faced kid straight out of college. I'd deal with Morgan later. I waved her off. It's fine, I've got a ride waiting outside. The gust of cold air at Aurora's door felt like freedom. I swore under my breath, never again. No more after-hours appearances with Julian, ever. I pulled out my phone to call a car. I'd invented the waiting ride to shake Colton. Before I could tap the app, Obsidian Maybach glided to the curb. I knew that car, it was Julian's. Get in. He lowered the window just enough for the two clipped words to float out. I backed up a step. No need, Sterling. My ride should be here any second. I'd climb into that car only if I were dead. Julian's last shred of patience snapped. Get in. I won't say it again. Fine, consider me deceased. Because the boss was furious. He didn't speak the entire drive. His profile was stone, lips sealed in a thin, cold line. Wait, this wasn't the route to my apartment. I shifted uneasily. Julian, where are we? Shut up. He turned, the single word sharp enough to cut. His gaze dropped to the velvet box still in my hand. I told you, those trinkets are garbage on you. Without hesitation he plucked the box away and hurled it out the window. Only then did his breathing even slightly. 10 minutes later, the Sterling mansion. Julian clamped a hand around my wrist and hauled me through the front doors. Julian. Let go, you're hurting me. I had no idea what had turned him into this raging lion. The next second I was pinned to the wall of the dark entryway, his palm flat against my back, every inch of him sealed to me. In the total blackness his body heat wrapped around me, and the star-white glitter in his eyes held me still. His right hand locked around my throat. Say my name again, go on, Avery. You've clearly lost all sense of caution. How starved for attention are you? You drugged one man and now you're working on a second? I yelped, genuinely wronged. That's not true. I've only ever gotten one man wasted, and that was you. I can't stand being accused. In my panic, the outrageous truth just popped out. Julian wasn't moved in the least. At the party just now, you and that pretty boy Colton were tossing drinks back like it was spring break. Still denying it? So one man isn't enough, you've moved on to innocent types? Don't bother spiking their drinks, just tell me. I'll knock him out and deliver him to your bed myself, save you the effort. In my mind, Julian had always been unruffled, cool, composed, and utterly in control. Yet the man in front of me now was neither restrained nor patient. Sterling, are you actually jealous? I replayed the scene from the moment we'd stepped out of the car, the way he'd acted exactly like a boyfriend whose girl had been eyed by another guy, jealousy blazing red hot in his eye. Yes. In that instant the back of my neck was forced upward. His thin, firm lips crashed down on mine. Teeth were pried open without ceremony, his tongue drove in, twisting, plundering, demanding everything. My fingertips clawed at the broad slope of his shoulders until the skin showed white. Two bodies began moving blindly toward the only place they wanted to be. I was pressed into the soft white expanse of the bed, and the kiss turned liquid, gentle, sweet, almost languid. Julian grazed my lower lip, then drifted to the earlobe already burning crimson and hot, his ragged breath beat against my skin. I trembled and curled inward. A smug smile curved his mouth. Just as I remembered, this is your sweetest spot. Heat flooded my cheeks in one furious rush. He had called me Avery. Wait, no. Hold on. What exactly had we just been doing? I shoved Julian away, too hard. I rolled clear off the mattress and yelped at the bruising jolt. He frowned slightly, bent, and scooped me up in a bridal carry, settling me gently back on the bed. So careless. Aren't you afraid of hurting yourself? His shirt had vanished, only the sculpted armor of chest and wide, enticing shoulders remained. I dropped my gaze, afraid to look again. Sterling, why did you kiss me? The sudden, forceful kiss had caught me completely off guard. I'd enjoyed it, sure, but without a title, without a name, I was the one who stood to lose. I wanted Sinclair explanation. Instead of answering, he gave a low, rolling laugh. The next second he pulled me into his arms and studied me with a look I couldn't define. Avery, you did far worse things to me that night, and now you won't even let me steal a kiss? I fought to keep my voice steady. So, that morning, you knew it was me? Julian shook his head. I didn't, at first. I blinked. Question mark. When I woke up, there was a diamond drop earring on the pillow. I remembered you wearing the same pair. For 3 months you never put them on again. I decided to wait for you to confess. But you never came. Doubt crept in. So I took the initiative. Security footage showed you hovering outside my office, too scared to enter. Then you flat out denied the earring was yours. That's when I was certain, it had to be you. So I'd blown my own cover? He went on, patient. These last few days I kept wondering why you stayed away. I figured you were afraid my feelings didn't match yours, afraid the whole company would turn on you once they found out. The truth stabbed straight through me, my nose stung. Then why, I asked, voice small, if you already knew and had the earring, didn't you call me out that day when I lied? Julian brushed my cheek with fond exasperation. Avery, you're being completely unreasonable. You slept with me, acted like nothing happened for 3 months, and then gushed over the earrings Colton gave you, eyes sparkling. What was that supposed to mean? Hit and run, then flirt with another man? Life isn't that cheap. I protested hotly. I was being polite, not flirting. The only man I've ever wanted is you, otherwise I wouldn't have resorted to getting you wasted just to have my way. My voice dwindled to a shy whisper by the end. He stroked my face. Since you're too scared to make the next move, let me come for you. I lifted my gaze, heart racing. The man I'd dreamed about day and night was actually whispering love words to me. Tentatively I asked, so, what are we now, secret affair or official boyfriend-girlfriend? Given his stature, I wasn't sure he wanted us out in the open. Maybe I was just a passing interest doomed to stay hidden. Julian's expression darkened, he flicked my forehead twice. Didn't you hear a word I just said, Avery? I want you as my girlfriend, and one day you'll be my wife. You're going to be Sterling, out in the light, not some hidden girlfriend. Show some ambition. I nodded so hard my neck ached. It feels like a dream, too unreal. He leaned down again, lips soft and warm, hand lie. TLY pinching my waist. How about now? Still not enough. I couldn't resist teasing. Piece by piece he undressed me. Heated air swirled through the room, cheering us on. Julian kissed me feverishly, throat, earlobe, waist, then lower. Baby, is this enough? No, still not enough. I turned my face away on purpose. A bright laugh rang out. Fine. Let's see if you're still singing the same tune when you're begging for mercy. He pressed me deeper into the mattress. Tonight I was wide awake, every sensation razor sharp. The first time had been a blur, but this was complete. Desire peaked and stayed there until dawn. Morning light slipped through the curtains. I stirred, eyelids heavy, body utterly spent, muscles sore, bones loose, unable to move a millimeter. Worse, Julian had me locked in his arms, chin resting on my hair. I tilted my head, long dark brows, deep-set eyes, sculpted nose, perfectly curved lips. How could one man stockpile so much beauty? Seen enough? His low, amused voice rumbled beside my ear. I buried my burning face in the quilt. Nope, not nearly enough. A lifetime wouldn't be long enough. The next second, Julian yanked the quilt away and crawled right in after me, his hands already roaming mischievously around my waist, tickling every sensitive spot until I couldn't help but giggle out loud. In the end, of course, I had to beg for mercy like always, just like the night before. That was how Julian and I started a secret romance. The kind we couldn't tell anyone about. At first he refused, insisting it was no different from a dirty affair, but I wore him down with endless sweet talk until he finally gave in. Think about it, I'd whisper, straddling his lap in his corner office under the pretense of getting files signed, a workplace romance, so thrilling. I'd kiss him, tease him, flirt until we were both half a breath from combustion. We'd wait until Sterling emptied out, then slip away hand in hand. Sometimes we'd even meet in the R.'s room, and if the coast was clear we'd sneak a quick touch, a stolen kiss. We kept it up for almost 6 months, and I loved every second. Then one afternoon the Intelligence Bureau's director caught us red-handed. I'd lured Julian to a secluded emergency stairwell during lunch. Well, Sterling, how's my choice of venue? I grinned. We could moan as loud as we want and no one would hear. I congratulated myself on my own cleverness, no chance of interruption here, just him and me. The next instant Julian lost the battle and crushed his mouth to mine. No harm in testing your theory, he murmured. We were lost in each other when something clattered around the bend. The motion sensor light blazed on. Morgan stood frozen, eyes wide, coffee pooling at her feet. I shoved Julian away, mortified, 20-something years on this planet and I'd never been so embarrassed. Julian, of course, looked perfectly unruffled, almost amused. He left me with a lazy, explain it yourself, sweetheart, and brushed past, bending to murmur at my ear, I'll collect what you owe me tonight. And yes, Morgan saw that, too. By afternoon she had me cornered in Sinclair interrogation worthy of a maximum security prison. Let me get this straight, she said. You deliberately got him wasted, then forced yourself on the boss and dragged him into bed? I nodded like a wind-up toy. Calm down, Morgan. I didn't mean to keep it from you. I just couldn't resist, sneaking around feels incredible. The memory of our recent escapades made me grin like a fool, but Morgan's face turned grave. She tucked me into a quiet alcove. Listen, Avery, a senior sales rep heard about you getting him drunk and says it's impossible. He's seen Sterling down project clients, 1,000-toast champion, leaves everyone under the table and still signs the deal. Word is the man's liver is forged of titanium. She gave my shoulder a shake. Face it, he flipped the script on you. After Morgan left, I stood alone in the pantry. Why, dazed. 1,000-toast champion. Leaves executives face down on the carpet. I'd only poured him a little more than usual that night, child's play compared to the vats he chugs with clients. That bastard Julian had played me for months. That evening on the drive home I made my move. Julian, today marks 200 days together. Let's open something special. His fingers drummed the steering wheel. Whatever makes you happy. Perfect, exactly what I wanted to hear. I'd come prepared, bottles so potent they were nicknamed 1 You're Out, far stronger than the night in question. If Julian didn't keel over, Morgan's theory would be confirmed. Experiment in progress. He tossed back glass after glass, complexion unchanged. Infuriating. Julian, I'm sleepy, let's go to bed. I hauled him to the mattress and initiated Plan B. While he wasn't looking, I flipped him onto his back, looped the leather belt around his wrists, and yanked them above his head. Admit it, you were stone-cold sober that night. He gazed up at me with fond eyes and actually lifted his head to steal a kiss. Shameless, I squeaked. Confess. My cheeks puffed so hard my cover was about to blow, and he still wouldn't be serious. Anran, understand this, anything Julian, decide I want, I get. So he'd wanted me from the start, no wonder he'd cooperated so enthusiastically. taking the lead again and again while I wound up on the bottom every single time. Unacceptable. I'm going to top you at least once, I declared, and began tearing at his shirt, then his pants. The instant he lay naked beneath me, both my wrists were captured. Baby, you're playing with fire. When had he slipped free of the belt? No use denying it, I fell for the seduction all over again. I spent the rest of the night putting out his flames, and when I was half asleep something cool slid onto my left ring finger. A gentle warmth brushed my forehead, and Julian's voice drifted through the dark. I wasn't just after you at night. From the very first moment I saw you, I wanted you. Amran, it was love at first sight. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed it, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.